Now we have this Star Wars actor who opened his mouth and things came out of it. And they are not good things. He essentially called the entire Star Wars fandom racist. And I'm not even exaggerating. Here's what he said. This is for a documentary being made about how black males definitely never get any roles in movies.
Wow.
You know, Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, Wesley Snipes, Will Smith, Chris Tucker, Chris Rock.
He played the Black Stabber in that Netflix series.
Yeah.
I mean, he should give him that role.
So here's what he says about Star Wars fans. Oh, wait, I have to share it the correct way so the audio doesn't double. God, this is an annoying issue. It's fine. Once I, get the methodology down, we'll be all right.
They're pandering. Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. Like, this is a franchise.
Whitest and elite, by the way.
It's so white that it's like a black person existing in that was something. And you can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are on the cookie dough. I'm like, bro, they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend. But once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just...
What's
that?
Act
like that role was some big leader role.
That's right. His role was a minor role. No one gave a shit about him.
It was, yeah.
He should go over to China where they got rid of him from the posters and then say that to the Chinese government.
They actually did that to him. He was in the post. Yeah.
Yep. They did.
Here, I'll send you the link. I wonder why he's not talking about the Chinese hatred or it being a Chinese franchise. Since, the Chinese also have a very huge, vast influence in all of this as well.
It's so frustrating because it's like, bro, first of all, he was a side quest. You see him here in the American poster.
Yeah.
And then in China, he's way smaller and tucked down.
I just don't even remember.
Speed went to China and people were giving him bananas in KFC buckets. That's like the true,
wow.
The fact that this idiot, I don't understand. First of all, like you said, he was the side quest. He was the B story.
His character was so not memorable at all. I barely have any recollection of him. He was such an NPC of a side character. It was unreal.
But how can he know? The weirdest thing is how can he know how people react to him when he wasn't the star of the movie?
Yeah.
I don't understand. He's like, well, when you make us the star of the movie, it's like, but you weren't the star, so how can you know how people would have reacted to you? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Exactly. And then also when you look at the sci-fi genre and stuff, that typically is more white audience.
Sure. How come there weren't enough white people in Black Panther?
Right, exactly.
How come there were no white people in Fresh Prince? How come there were no white people in Dolomite? How come there were no white people in
Snakes on the Plane? What is that movie?
Yeah.
I want to be in that one. Dolomite.
It's such a ridiculous straw man. How come Tyler Perry doesn't have any whites in his movies? How come Jordan Peele doesn't have any whites in his movies? And when he does, they're the villain. I could literally go on and on with it.
Where are the white people there?
Yeah, I'm just saying, where's John? How come how come white people aren't in in any of Jordan Peele's productions where he explicitly said, we're not gonna have white people. I'm gonna make my cinema for blacks. Okay, that's fine, but then don't whine about not getting roles in other stuff. I don't think casting by skin color, unless it makes sense for the role. If you're casting a black person or you're casting a white person, then the skin color should be completely irrelevant. I don't understand it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very...
This seems like another just divisive narrative that he's been kind of ensnared with. It's like these actors are some of the most retarded, insane people on the face of this earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, you've been given so many opportunities. You've been given so much. and you're still going to blame everything on white people when you're one of the most privileged, luckiest people on the face of this earth.
I think the reality of the situation is that he didn't get a ton of roles after this. He didn't propel to superstardom like he thought he would.
Yep.
And this is just his way of trying to get attention.
The white man's keeping me down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he's still salty that he didn't get more screen time in that movie.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
Because he did an interview with like.
But if he said this about any other race, right? If he said this about
Oh right, yeah,
Jewish people or Muslim
Right.
people, there would have been a huge outrage. There would have been a huge cancel mob. But of course, this is excused. It's totally cool that he gets to have this deranged kind of racist viewpoint where he gets to hate people because of the way that they were born, which is such an insane, asinine, idiotic belief system. But he's able to double down on it. He's able to be there, and he's able to flaunt it with no issues at all. Which
he went on to in a 2020 interview. He also said, "What I would say is that Disney do not have a bring out of a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good." He's salty because he sucked and no one cared about his role.
Yep.
And now he's saying white people. And he goes, the trilogy gave all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. By the way, she is very forgettable in her role too.
She was
The only
absolutely.
actor from those Star Wars franchises that went on to do anything was Adam Driver, because he actually is an amazing actor.
He was great. Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah,
the whole
and-
movie industry is failing, by the way.
Right.
So he's complaining about, he might be complaining about not getting all the roles, but this whole industry is outdated. It's going out. It's something that's being replaced. And for you to, just kind of stop and scream and point your finger at white people to blame them for everything really just shows also a lack of personal responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's all very, very it's very worrisome. And I don't know. It's worrisome that this language is still an issue. And Melonie, I don't, do you think this is ever going to go away?
I feel like it has to, and like if they're going to keep getting funding from like your BlackRock and things like that, then this is going to keep being stalled even longer. But if they get to a point to where it's like, hey, we actually have to rely on ticket sales, we actually have to rely on viewer funding and supporting this stuff, then they are going to have to make some changes.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it now where plenty of movies are flopping, whether it's Snow White or Star Wars, or kind of this whole narrative of white people is kind of dead. Like we're not allowing that anymore. Look, white people are 80% of the people that go to theater. #, deal with it.
Right.
Deal with it.
And right now it's like
blacks don't go to the theater. They don't. They go see black movies. They go see Tyler Perry movies, and 8 Mile. They don't go and see most mainstream cinema. So I mean, I'm sorry to be so crass about it and to cut you off, but like, I'm just so sick of it. It's like, oh my God, there's not enough trans people. Well, 7 troons go to the theater a year.
Exactly.
So what the fuck do you want?
Exactly.
White people go to the movies, okay?
Yeah.
So until you start, considering that in the movies that you make, the suffering will continue. Like that's just the reality of it. I'm sorry, I don't want to see, I don't want to see
the fans that make you so rich. How do you blame the people that have
I don't
helped you
know.
out?
I know.
That's the duplicitous aspect of this, because like the fans, it's not like they had issues with this. They were totally fine with this. They supported him. They bought his action figures. They went and watched the movie. There wasn't any kind of issue. He's now making an issue, shitting on the people that have brought him tremendous amounts of wealth and fame. Like, that's retarded.
Well, and by the way, to those in chat who are taking my statement as an exact fact, obviously, yes, black people do go to the movies. But by their sheer minority numbers, they are not driving the box office. They simply cannot. Yeah. I'm not saying that Tyler Perry shouldn't make movies. for
yeah,
the black audiences.
There's some
or whatever.
black movies that are great that white people we support and we watch. Like, look just historically how those TV shows, movies, things like that. If they're good,
Well,
but
a lot of
don't just,
people saw Jordan Peele's first movie.
exactly.
Actually, I saw all of them, and they just got progressively worse.
Right.
But like, I mean, I think like Nope was pretty good concept, a pretty cool
liked
concept.
Nope. I thought it was good.
I can't remember. Was that Jordan Peele?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I thought that movie was okay.
Oh, and that one with the family where they were.
That one was only okay.
I liked
because they had like
it.
weird comedy in it.
That scared me. That
Yeah.
scared the crap out
Are you
of
talking about the Sunken Place one? Because that one was
It was the one where like the families had like doppelgangers that were trying to kill them.
Yeah.
But after I watched that, I went to bed. I just kept like being afraid I was going to see myself smiling at myself.
Yeah, yeah.
They're kill me.
And I mean, I think that other movie, that was explicitly about negative about white people.
Right.
The whole movie was about cultural
retarded opinions. I just sent you a clip of him in 2020 talking about how black people are fighting for their lives at a BLM rally.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's wearing a leather glove too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing a Michael Jackson glove, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he is. Look at him. He's wearing like brass knuckle fighting gloves, like a fucking loser.
Wow.
Okay. Like, I can't with these people. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about people like John Boyega.
Exactly.
Who's like got everything handed to him.
Privileged person ever.
Yeah.
Like the most uppity, elitist, privileged person ever.
Yeah. And like, by the way, sorry, like, you want to talk about how Black Panther made $1 billion? Guess what? Guess whose money that was?
Yep.
So I just don't give a shit when John Boyega whines about not being in every movie all of the time. All right, I just don't care. Like, and also this notion that people need to see people that look like them on the screen is complete nonsense.
We have an echo right now.
Oh, sorry. It's complete nonsense. They have.
I agree. I'm sick of it. Like
my favorite shows growing up were like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Family Matters. I
was
love
a huge
those shows.
Sister fan.
Sister. I love that show.
That was one of my favorites. I never at any point thought I want to see myself. Like that never even crossed my mind.
Urkel.
Yeah. Family Matters was great. I watched it every Friday night. TGIF. So like this is nonsense. I loved Independence Day. Guess who the star was? Will Smith.
Yep.
The first Independence Day is still one of probably my top 15 all-time movies. At least it's a top 10 summer movie.
Great movie.
Blade, one of my top 20 all-time movies. Wesley Snipes. So this is utter complete it's a fake narrative. There are loads of black people that will see Marvel movies and they don't go there just to see stupid what's his name? Nighthawk or whatever his name is, the dumb one who's Captain America now. Like that guy's not selling tickets. Black folks go because they like the Avengers. They're not going because they're like, oh, there's a black guy there.
About race, if I remember correctly. He also said some dumb stuff recently.
Yeah,
he did. And that's the thing is black people love Goku from Dragon Ball.
Yes, right. He's white, by the way.
Obviously not black.
Yeah, well, he's Japanese, right? Yeah.
Well, Japanese or whatever their unit, but he has white skin. So it's like, that's black people love Goku. And
they don't care. Tons of black people like anime.
Yep.
It's a fallacy that Equalizer. I love the Equalizer. I love basically everything Denzel's in. Training Day, Equalizer 1, Equalizer. They all go downhill. They get progressively worse, but I love them. I love Jurassic Park, but I don't look like a dinosaur. Why is the number 2 grossing movie of all time full of blue people?
Yeah,
how many blue people were in what is that called? Avatar. Nobody, it didn't look like anybody there, and it was the number 2 grossing movie in history. So it's such a bullshit argument that people make.